Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be looking at a game between Roxkiss Pomi and Type PhoeNix. This is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg, Pomi versus PhoeNix here on the map Antigua Shipyard. This will be the first game in a series of games we watch between these two players. And why don't we start it all off by getting some recent tournament information. Starting with our yellow Protoss player spawning in the lower right hand spawn position. We have got Roxkiss Pomi. Pomi took second place at the Fast VPS All for Gamers 5. This was in December of 2011. In November of 2011, he did take first place at the Craft Cup Elite number 107. His opponent over here in the upper left-hand spawn position is Type PhoeNix. PhoeNix took second place at the Antec Attack number 8. This was in March of 2012. Also in March of 2012, he took second place at the Polar Fluke March of the Marines. Type PhoeNix opening up with an early pool. Very early pool here from our Teal Zerg player. With this, he will of course get early lings in play and be able to harass. And this could be effective, as we can see down here, Pomi is coming out with that Forge fast expand as he lays down the pylon, and the Forge is coming next. Just not quite as of yet. Saving up his resources here. He could actually be trying to go Nexus first. However, that will change once Pomi does scout out that early pool. You can see he's moving directly cross-positional, so he will be scouting out PhoeNix in just a moment. There we go, did drop that Forge first, which is pretty fortunate for him, because had he tried to go Nexus first, that could have been a problem. We do have 6 lings in production right now for PhoeNix, and those will be immediately moving out towards his opponent's base. I'm not sure if this is, I believe this might be forced cross-positional spawn. I could be wrong though. Sometimes you get variants of the maps that have forced spawn locations, and I do believe, is he just going to be heading straight cross-positional? Yeah, it looks like he is. So it looks like that is the case here, that it is forced cross-positional spawning. Pylon gets laid down here by Pomi. This is going to be to try to delay that expansion coming out from PhoeNix. PhoeNix is bypassing that with his drone. Will he try? Yeah, there we go. Tries to drop the hatch down over here. Now, in response to spotting that early pool, Pomi did come out with his 2 cannons, and that will be adequate, as you can see, finishing just in time. And loses a Zergling. That's quite unfortunate there for PhoeNix. He might try to do a delay here of this expansion, although it doesn't look like he can actually get within range, as that cannon's range is just enough to prevent those lings from being able to push forward towards this Nexus. So Pomi is covered there in that sense. The only concern though is that these lings will delay mining from this expansion until Pomi either gets another cannon or gets a zealot. Let's have that gateway coming forward over here. So yes, PhoeNix did come out with the expansion over in this position. He does have this one Zergling working down that pylon. And you'll see this every now and then if a Protoss player tries to delay your expansion as a Zerg player at your natural. Sometimes you'll see the Zerg player just move into that natural third and drop his first expansion there. Much easier on this map as well, as it's a bit easier to defend this. You get specific examples of maps where the third base is a little bit further away from your main and your natural, and then all of a sudden doing something like this becomes a little bit more hazardous and a little more difficult to defend. Pomi almost done with the Nexus here at his natural, still concerned that he won't be able to fully get any mining going until he gets, again, either a zealot or another cannon. Now, he does have the pylon here, so he could drop a cannon, say, in this position. That would, of course, disrupt his mining, though, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see that zealot. There we go. We do have a zealot in production. So it looks like he will just be moving out with that zealot, and for now, just mining from this half because he is safe and covered by that cannon on this half. He just really can't venture over to there too much. Type PhoeNix has delayed any extractors in favor of coming out with a third base here, as he drops his third hatch at the natural expansion. Zealot now finished, will be moving down to deal with these lings. Lings getting a little brave here. Very close to that cannon range, but as you can see, they're just barely out of it. However, now that the Zealot has entered play, Zerglings will be forced back. See you later, buddy. Wouldn't be too surprised, actually, if the Zealot continues to push here. We do have 3 more lings over there. That will be enough to overwhelm that one Zealot, if they all group up together and decide to be one big happy family taking out a Zealot. Those 4 lengths could be a little more difficult, though. I know what I'm saying, just yammering right now. Robotics facility coming out here for Pomi. Pomi can now safely fully saturate this expansion. Lings do group up for one big happy family and move forward to get us around on the Zealot. The Zealot is a goner. Takes out one Zergling, unable to get a second. That's definitely a fair trade there for PhoeNix, as Pomi is now behind so far this game. Stalker also a little bit concerned. Now with some micro, he can be okay, but if he stops to shoot, he's going to start getting smacked in the face there by those Lings. So it looks like he'll just be continuing to push forward, and this will be for scouting purposes. He will try to now move in to the expansions and check exactly what his opponent has, as he really hasn't gotten eyes on any expos yet. You can see him moving immediately for that third. Already spots the creep. That's enough intel. Doesn't really need much more, and then just pulls back. Ling's unfortunately not fast enough to catch up. The metabolic boost is going to be here in a little while, but not in time to actually take out the Stalker. So Pomi will be able to safely get back into the range of these cannons. Now, speaking of Pomi, let's take a look at what we have here. A Twilight Council is coming out. We've got a few more gateways. That Robo is in play. PhoeNix has scouted that Robo. Doesn't know about that Twilight Council yet. He might in just a minute, though. If he happens to pull a little bit north there with that Overlord, he will be able to scout that Twilight Council. That'd be pretty huge, to be honest with you. There it is. Scouts the Twilight Council. So now he knows about that. He can also see it researching. And you have to assume at this point in the game, so early on, that that is blank. It certainly could be charged, but you don't typically see that charge upgrade this early in the game in a PvZ matchup. So he should be assuming that those are Blink Stalkers, and as a result preparing to deal with said Blink Stalkers. Upgrades coming out here. Carapace level 1 for type PhoeNix. Observer Scout of Pomi. Still hasn't checked the natural, which is baffling to me. But he is in the main. He spots that layer. Also hasn't checked the Roachwarren. He better move with that bad boy. There you go. Observer now finally moving through. He will spot the Roachwarren. He will spot that it's researching. There's, of course, that speed upgrade coming out. Ling's starting to work down these destructible debris, providing him an avenue into Pomi's third when he eventually does get it. Although when that happens, when and if that happens, probably going to expect Pomi to come out with some sort of a gateway wall off with a cannon or two behind it. So it wouldn't really matter that much that these rocks were destroyed. But still, not a bad idea to get rid of them. Speedlings and Roaches here for type PhoeNix. That Roach speed, the Glile reconstitution about halfway done. Carapace upgrade about halfway done. Lots of Roaches coming out. Very Roach heavy here now. Type PhoeNix is sitting. Who am I, Yoda? Moving out with some forces. Pomi does appear to be moving into his third base right now. Again, he has scouted out PhoeNix sitting on 3. So we'll be trying to get a third of his own. And that will force PhoeNix to try to get a fourth, because a 3-base Zerg versus a 3-base Protoss is a tough sell as a Zerg player. Ooh, Speedlings almost were able to sneak by there, but unfortunately we're forced back as he wasn't able to get that proper angle and sneak his way up into the natural for some additional scouting. Level 2 weapon upgrade coming out here for Pomi. Burrow research coming out over here for PhoeNix. Unfortunately, not a lot of aggression. Unfortunately for me, at least. Macro play isn't bad, but it's not as exciting to commentate. So hopefully we see some pressure at some point soon. And it looks like my wish may be granted in just one moment as type PhoeNix is preparing to move out. Speedlings and Roaches. He has finished that Roach speed. He has finished the Carapace level 1. Also coming out with that missile attack level 1 and the Burrow research. With that Burrow research, hopefully we do see those tunneling claws that allow him to not only sneak around, but also get by force fields. And we should be seeing force fields right now. There we go. Pomi lays down some force fields. PhoeNix is forced to pull back, finishes off those rocks. There is that gateway wall off with a cannon behind it as expected. However, that Roach is out of range. The Roach fire, able to do some damage to those gateways. PhoeNix a little worried about force fields there, decides to pull back. Just be careful about getting caught in choke points like this. Able to pull back, very nice there. PhoeNix forcing the use of those force fields, and without them being effective really, because this energy is being used by those sentries, but no combat is actually taking place, and PhoeNix just keeps pulling back. He has decided to commit right now. We do have a Colossus in play, which is something that he needs to get within range of, or else he's going to have some issues. So many force fields getting laid down here. However, PhoeNix with a very large force is muscling his way through those Zealots. Not enough firepower yet. Guardian Shield, Immortals, and those Colossus doing tremendous damage to a Roach-heavy army, forcing PhoeNix back. It looks like he's going to attempt to push up into this position again. Even just quickly dropping a Warp Gate can be beneficial for him. It looks like he's going straight for that. Drops one. Sticking around to try to get another. I think he's going to get it. There you go. Drops 2 warp gates. That's a good situation there for PhoeNix. I want to take a quick look though at the resources lost. PhoeNix is a bit behind. That engagement didn't quite go as well as he may have hoped. He's actually a little bit over 1,000 resources behind Pomi right now, which is a little hairy, a little bit scary. Roach is pulling forward, trying to get within range of those Colossus. Not happening though. Dropping the Immortals first. Zealots tearing through those Roaches and the Stalkers as well. Also keep in mind that Pomi is fully aware at all times where PhoeNix is, where he's going. He's got that Observer Scout sitting right there. PhoeNix now trying to take that central expansion. Forces a cancel there with that one gateway. Second gateway does appear to be finishing. Let's take a look at transition here. We do have Pathogen Gland coming out. Also getting some infestors in play. A little bit late. He could have started those a little bit earlier. A lot of times you'll see those come out so that they finish once that Pathogen Gland research also finishes. Roach is still tempting fate here as they continue to push. And he's very close to dropping that warp gate. Just a 1 or 2 Roach fire. Oh my god, he's not going to get it. Oh my god, he just got worked. Stalkers and Colossus just tore through PhoeNix's army, and now he's being pushed back, and now he's falling further and further behind. Close to 4,000 resources behind Pomi right now. That is a tough situation. Level 3 weapon upgrade coming out for Pomi. Pomi should be able to take out this expansion without issue. We have a few changelings moving forward to scout out for PhoeNix. Roach and Infestor. Lots of Roaches coming out into play. I want to take a look at the army size. Pomi is behind in the army size right now. Once those Roaches pop, should have enough to force Pomi back. Hasn't been many worker kills at all. Just want to check that quickly. Roach is moving forward. Gonna get 1 Colossus. Infestor's also coming into play. Let's see if we can get some fungal growth action. There we go, doing a little bit of extra damage, but doesn't really matter. He's losing all of his Roaches. Going to lose those Infestors as well. Those reinforcement Roaches coming a bit too late. I don't think PhoeNix should have engaged there. I think that was a pretty big mistake. Now he is... No, man, he's still not in a good position. You can see he's slightly ahead, but Pomi has a superior force right now, superior unit composition and everything. This is not the best situation here for PhoeNix. PhoeNix losing his central expansion does appear to be bypassing the main army of Pomi, attempting a counterattack at this point. Now, Pomi is just going to pull back and sandwich that. These Roaches will die very quickly once those Blink Stalkers catch up. The Blink Stalkers alone are enough to take that out. We do have a few Roaches and Speedlings moving in this direction. Let's see if we can do anything with that. Roaches trying to do some damage over here. The Blink Stalkers, again, will pin them and drop them quite quickly. A few Roaches attempting to move over here. However, Pomi is prepared for this. He's got the 3 Colossus Sentries laying down some force fields. Zealots taking out anything within range. All those Roaches get taken care of. PhoeNix now down to dwindling forces. He's still on 3 bases. And there's the GG. Great game number 1 here between Pomi and PhoeNix. Unfortunately for PhoeNix, he wasn't able to pull out the victory. He was attempting to be very aggressive, but the problem is that none of his aggressive pushes really did that much damage. In fact, he ended up falling behind after every engagement. Never really took out any major tech, only really ever dropped a few warp gates, but that was it. And again, being behind in resources lost after those engagements, and then this engagement clearly didn't go too well for him either, actually forcing the GG. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. That was game 1. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.